Today I want to talk to you about something that I found in Genesis chapter 2 that I think is just opens up the world of possibilities if we give it a chance. In today's society, with all of the protests and the women's marches and all of the stuff that's going on, for some reason God just drew me to Genesis chapter 2, and it's kind of the story of the creation of man and the creation in more detail. So we know that God created Adam out of the dust of the ground, and I think that's very important, and that's something we're going to look at. That word ground right there. God created out of the ground, from the dust of the ground, man, and then He blew into his nostrils the breath of life. And then when we move on down to verse 18, we see that God says it's not good for man to be alone. So God said He'll make him a helpmate. Some translations use the word complement, that God will make a complement for man. And then God returned to the ground, again, the same ground that He made Adam from. He returned to that ground and made every animal, bird, everything that crawls upon the ground and swims in the sea, He said. But then He brought those to Adam, and when He brought those to Adam, no complement, no helpmate was found suitable for Adam. So then God, as we know, caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep, and then He took the rib and then He formed a woman. So that's kind of the whole message here, is looking at men and women are different, and they never were created to be the same. Now, I know, with all of the stuff going on, that we see that men and women are fighting for equal rights and equal pay for equal jobs. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the differences between man and woman. And that's why I titled this Flowers of Gray, because sometimes we sit back and we look at a bouquet of flowers, and we're just marveled by the millions of colors and shapes and petal shapes and all of these different things, and we marvel at its beauty. But if it all was the same, for instance, if all flowers were gray and all flowers were roses, what a boring just existence would that be? But it's not that way. God created beautiful flowers and things. And in the creation of man and woman, I think it's very important to look at that God created them differently and by different substrates. One He created from the ground, the other He created from a rib or flesh. And so women and men were never designed to be the same. They were never designed to have the same qualities and the same attributes as each other. And so I like that word complement that some of the translations use. And I looked that up in the Webster's Dictionary, and a complement is something that brings about perfection in unity. And I think that just says it all right there. I think that God created man, and then He created a complement in woman, and then together He created a perfect union in them. And a couple of things I would like to highlight that I just wrote down. One is God created women to be strong where men are weak, and vice versa. And so that is what makes their union together so strong and so powerful, is where one is weak, the other is strong, and where the other is strong, the other one is weak. And I think that's what balances and makes men and women just the greatest complement to each other. And we need to celebrate that and not try to destroy that. Secondly, He made women to be tender, where men is so much more coarse and rough. Women were designed to be much more nurturing than men in just child raising, and even in their daily activities and the things that they do and the interactions they have with people. Men and women are different in their reactions and how they think. And when you put both of them together, you really get a more full picture, and there is a more balance and more perfect relationship and more perfect communication when you put those two together. And lastly, God created women to grow life where men can only attribute a seed. And I think that's one of the greatest miracles of all that woman can actually bear a child, bear another human being, and have that human in her body and grow in her body and feel it move, and just all of the beauty and the wondrous things that come from childbirth. And that is something a man cannot feel. We can have ideas, but we can't feel what it's like to actually give birth and give life. And I think we need, in our society now, just need to celebrate that, not looking as man being higher than woman or woman being higher than man, but being equal to each other and being a more perfect union, and looking at the differences that we have and celebrating those differences, and not just having everybody just be the same. And I think the same I just think that leads to a very boring life and a boring existence if everything was just status quo. If we were truly equal, and I'm not talking about equal as in monetary things or equal as in positions in society. I think we are equal, but there again, I think we need to celebrate the differences between a man and a woman. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great day.